Okay, pit laners, welcome to a new video from pitlanes.com. And guess what? We're in Assetto Corsa Competizione. We're in the new VR build. Well, in fact, we're in the new hotfix VR build. We're doing a practice, so we're out here on our own. A rather wet Nürburgring. Now I know there's a new track in this October build, early access build of ACC, but the Misano circuit does struggle with frame rates for me, so I thought I'd stick with the track. A, I know, sorry, and B, runs a little bit better on my i7 4790 Intel CPU with a NVIDIA GTX 1070 GPU, especially when we're trying to do VR. But we are in the new Bentley because I really like the GT3 Bentley. Gotta love this big old boat of a car. So much fun to try and chuck it about, and the power down the straights is just amazing. So, what do we think of this early access build 0.2, which now includes VR? Well, the early access moniker is certainly living up to its name, because this really is an early access version of VR implementation. Initially there was no keyboard support, there's still no mouse support, so you had to go into the game in non-VR, find some buttons for the menu options, boot the game in VR, and then use those binded options to actually cycle through menus and get the game up and running. Now, since then, they have implemented some keyboard buttons, you know, arrow keys, page up, page down, that sort of type of thing, which has made life a little bit easier, but again isn't overly brilliant when you have a set of goggles on your head blocking out the entire world, including your keyboard. But you know, this is an early access build, work in progress, the first implementation of VR, so you know, we all knew what we were getting into when we signed up. So you know, yes, it's inconvenient, especially when you want to recenter the headset. You need to use control and space, 2 keys. But it is what it is, but it works. Now, I don't have a frame rate meter running, so I don't know what I'm getting frame rate wise, but it looks smooth, it feels smooth. Now, whether that's because Oculus is bit of I don't know what they call it now, sampling reprojection thing, I don't know, has cut in, asynchronous warp, that's it, has cut in and has dropped it down to 45 and then is smoothing it out using the hardware itself, or the game is running somewhere near 90 FPS while I'm on track on my own. I don't know, either way it seems smooth. I don't feel ill, especially since the new build added the 6 degrees of movement. So you've got all the in, out. I did feel a little odd when I first tried it out, but I haven't had that weird disconnected sensation since, and I can lap quite happily now. So from a comfort point of view, whatever they've done frame rate wise, or you know, real world scale, whatever they've tweaked, it's a lot more comfortable now. You can sit there with your headset on now for, you know, a considerable length of time and not have any issues. Which again, it's a step in the right direction. You just have to keep reminding yourself, you know, early access, early access, early access. And it is nice that they've got VR in at such an early stage of the development. You know, and it's only going to get better once they, you know, optimize it. They get data and user feedback on how it is now and how the changes, you know, make it better or worse going forward. So they, you know, when we get to the final release, we should have a silky smooth VR experience. You know, there are some tweaks, there are some adjustments out there on the internet. Gamer Muscle's got something about getting the best out of VR. Try and sharpen the image up, because it is a little, it's just a touch blurry. Can't quite get the dashboard too well in focus, but there's ways around it. I haven't fiddled with any. I'm just playing it in its raw state. No tweaks, no adjustments, just as the latest build is. So I expect I can squeeze a bit more of a crisper look and a bit more performance out of it if I try some of the tweaks. All you've got to do is just search on YouTube or go onto Reddit. Plenty of help guides out there. As for the new car, it sounds bloody great, I'll tell you that now. You know, I've played with this car in a few other titles, and they've definitely captured that raw, throaty sound of this big old car. Got all the pops and bangs, just up and down the gears. You can just, you can hear the power. I think that's the best way to sum it up. You can just hear the power. We're running here on a slightly wet afternoon, just because I hadn't tried it in anything else but sun. Just wanted to see what the rain effects look like in VR, and you can, you know, the rear windows look a bit dry, but oh no, you get a little bit. Look, as you get speeded up, look, little ripple effects there. But you got the shimmery, shiny track. You can definitely patches of puddles. There we go, look here where the track would dip and it would naturally collect. So you know, it looks right. So with these big old beasts with the traction control and ABS, especially the weight of this vehicle, these little light puddles, they don't really affect the performance overly. You have to brake a little earlier and your apex speed is a touch slower, but it's not like trying to thread a Formula 1 car through a wet circuit. But I think the difference is just about noticeable to the handling. But again, these are things they're going to tweak along the way. But it does look dark, grainy and horrible, like you wouldn't want us to be stood out there And from that point of view, you know, I know this is going to sound odd, but it feels realistic, you know? It looks like you know, it looks cold and wet out there. I don't know, I just got a feeling that this title is going to shape up to be something, you know, really good. They're really going to be able to take on the GT3 series, and you know, the level of detail that they're going to be able to lavish on this title, that you can already see just poking its head out here and there now, so early into the build. How different this car feels to the Lamborghini, for starters. So, you know, each car, I know they're all going to be GT3 cars, but each car's going to, it feels like it's going to have its own definitive characteristics. So some cars are going to suit some tracks better than others. So you're going to get that degree of variety through the different manufacturers, and because of the fact that they all feel a little different. So, you know, it's not just going to be, you know, just a point of selecting the manufacturer or the car that you happen to prefer. You know, if you want to compete in the season, you want to race online, you're going to have to think a little bit about, you know, what car is going to be the most suitable for that track and that weather, and sorting out the best compromise if you're going to run a season. So there's going to be aspects of the game that's going to require you to think about. It's not just going to be, right, well, they're all just GT3. Ooh, we all backstepped out a bit there. You know, ABS, traction controlled, tin cans driving around. There's going to be a degree of difference and finesse between the models, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of that as more cars get released. You know, we've had a little bit of a tweak to the force feedback in this build. I'm using a AccuForce Pro direct drive wheel. Sim Experience have released an initial force feedback profile for this sim title, which has helped enormously. Feels a lot more responsive now, a lot more direct, and does make the game a lot better. And I'm also now using the Fanatic GT3 McLaren rim on my AccuForce base, using the Sim Racing Machine's USB conversion. So I'm actually racing now with a proper GT3 sized feel and spec rim. Got to say, it was easy to set up and it's working flawlessly. So I'm looking forward to trying it out with more GT3 cars in this sim and others. But yeah, the force feedback here. I know, look, when I'm on a curb, and depending on which sort of curb it is, some of these are quite flat, others have got like a sawtooth on them, and all that's coming through the wheel. So I, you know, not only do I know that I'm on the curb or riding the curb, but I also know what sort of curb I'm riding. So, you know, there's detail there. You know, it's not at the level of the other sim titles, but they've been out for Lord knows how long, had X amount of updates and new builds to be able to hone the force feedback. But again, early access, we're only on the second build, but for me, with my AccuForce direct drive wheel, I'm really happy with the force feedback. I'm happy with what I'm getting back from the sim. I know what the car's doing. Again, it stepped out a little earlier. I knew it had stepped out. I was able just to, you know, hold it, correct it, and carry on. I don't think you can ask for much more from a force feedback than that. So, I know it's a little bit rambly, but I just wanted to have a little bit of a chat about what I thought about ACC so far, its first couple of builds, and generally I am still very positive about this title. I still think it's going to be good. You know, we can get a better idea of how VR is going to be with a little bit more optimization to help out some of the performance issues. Mouse support, that's going to be fantastic. Save having to look down your nose piece, or, you know, keep shuffling with the goggles on and off to see the keyboard. But, you know, these things are going to come. They introduced keyboard support pretty quick, so, you know, I'm feeling pretty optimistic that mouse support is going to come sooner rather than later. Yeah, the force feedback got a tweak in this build, which took it another step forward. So, you know, as we go through builds 3, 4 towards the end of the year, it's only going to be built on and improved. So yeah, I'm enjoying this journey, this early access journey. I'm enjoying seeing the title shape up and new features and new content getting added. And I think if you're a sim racer with a passing interest in these types of cars, this style of racing, pick it up while it's cheap. Come and join the early access adventure. Enjoy the little surprises, the little bonuses, the little things you weren't expecting on such a title as this at such an early stage. Come and get involved in the frustrations and the headaches of trying to get it all to set up and work. Where things are missing, don't quite work, or, you know, need tweaking from a user perspective rather than a developer's perspective to get it to work for our particular systems. But that's, you know, I'm quite looking forward to finding out how to sharpen up the image, how to tweak some of the INI files behind the scenes to see what I can squeeze out of it. It's kind of what being a PC gamer's all about, really, isn't it? We enjoy getting stuck in, tinkering, messing about. Well, I know I do. So, I think I have chatted away for long enough now. Yeah. Am I enjoying it? Yes. Has it got problems? Yes. Is that expected? Yes. Do I think they'll be fixed and sorted? Yes. So if you haven't got ACC, you think you're going to be interested in it, pick it up sooner rather than later, because as each build comes out, or each couple of builds, it's going to get more and more expensive as you get closer to the final release and the final price. So come on. Come and get stuck in, have some fun, try something. It's new and shiny, why wouldn't you want to try it? Come and join us on the hype train here at pitlanes.com about ACC. Right. I think that's me done for now. Please use the comment section. Let us know what you think about ACC in the early access builds, specifically how it works for you in VR, or doesn't work for you. What have you done to try and, you know, get it to work in VR? Let us know. Always interested to hear from other users, other sim racers. And check us all out on the various social platforms using the links that will be in the description. Okay. Thanks for watching and happy sim racing.